But I'm not mad at people who are unimpressed in this moment by that announcement, because they're saying, well, why, first of all, do we always have to have everything to be inclusive of us and everybody else, instead of it being just us, right? Just us, just things that is for Black people specifically. Why?
If they can't show you where they get their CMOS from, don't consume it.
Hey y'all, what's going on, people? Hey peoples, y'all up and at it today, right? Hey. Hey guys. Can you roll up the other window, sir? Okay. All right. Hey, Ivy. My big sis. What's going on, Patrice? Patrice, I owe you another call. So, there's been much discussion. Oh, okay. I think we got the internet together. So did somebody ask me about who I'm ranking for mayor? So let me get that straight first, so we can go from there. My ranking for mayor, I only have the top two so far, which is Ray McGuire number 1, Maya Wiley number 2. I know that I'll be ranking Diana Morales somewhere, and I don't really know exactly where yet. So I'm still working through it. I'm going to vote. I'm going to be one of those people that probably actually votes on election day. But yeah, I'm sorry, I was freezing. I had to fix my internet. But definitely anybody but Yang. That's where I am now. Exactly, Lena. I'm anybody but Yang. That's my position. So I'm going to rank all those people who... I thought Ray McGuire doesn't support defund the police. I think Ray McGuire, like a lot of people, is trying to stay away from the word defund. But if you look at his plans and look at what he is talking about, he basically is saying there has to be a reinvestment in communities and a balancing of the budget for policing. So I think people are just trying their best to stay away from the actual term defund. But Maya Wiley is saying defund the police. And so I appreciate her for that. However, you know, Maya was also, she worked at the CCRB, and she's been in local government, and there's some issues there. So in terms of what she actually was able to accomplish. So, you know, we have what we have. We're dealing with the pool that's in front of us. But I certainly would prefer, I want to make sure that we do not allow Andrew Yang to become mayor. So that's really important. So I'm going to rank my folks and do what I have to do. And of course, ranking people who I believe should be in the position, and ranking people who I think can win. So that's the deal. Okay, so let's go to this Juneteenth holiday thing. So obviously, there's some debate about it. Of course, with everything that Black folks care about, you're going to have people that are on all different sides of the conversation. And that's absolutely okay. That is absolutely fine. That you will have people who see it different ways, who have different connections and stories and feelings, people who come from different perspectives. That is 100% fine. And for me, I've been observing Juneteenth since a little girl because like many, my parents taught me about Juneteenth, and therefore this is not something that's a new phenomenon to me. I do know there are a lot of people who don't really know about Juneteenth, and they need to know. And so, you know, and it is something that we should be celebrating as a people. You know, just like we do 4th of July, we ought to be teaching our children and knowing about Juneteenth. No one is taking anything away from that. I think one of the things that frustrates me about people and just outright irritates me is this idea that we can't be nuanced, that we are not the type of folks that can say, you know what, I appreciate the fact that, you know, something happened that some people feel a connection to, but I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. And I am not impressed. I'm not impressed even the slightest about what the federal government has done in relation to this holiday at a time when we are fighting for a number of other issues. It doesn't mean, again, that I don't appreciate and respect the fact that Miss Opal and others, these are folks who are actual advocates for the Juneteenth holiday. These are people who have been, that's why you shouldn't turn this way, you should have went the other way, but I don't even come down here. I can appreciate the fact that there are people who who like Miss Opal and others from Galveston, Texas, and people just across the country who have been pushing for there to be more national holidays, and specifically this one, for these things to be acknowledged. I don't have a problem with that. You will never ever see me going on anybody's page, writing in their comments or texting them or whatever to try to tell them that they're wrong for having a connection, a feeling, or for wanting to celebrate and believing that their efforts around Juneteenth are important, and wanting to celebrate that. I don't have a problem with it. I'm completely cool with the fact that there are people out here who have advocated for this, and this is a moment that is a good moment for them. So when I'll give you an example of something that happened with me, right? I am very, 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 very 100% proud of the work that the anti-violence community has done to secure $5.3 billion with an executive order from this administration to deal with gun violence prevention and intervention. I'm ecstatic about it because I know how much work has been done to get those types of resources for violence, and I know, and for anti-violence efforts, and I know how much the grassroots organizations, they suffer, they stress to be able to survive every single day. So I'm one of these people that I recognize that this administration has made a commitment to violence intervention, and in fact, they have centered people like Erica Ford of Life Camp out in Queens, people like Pastor Mike McBride in Oakland, folks who do this work, who are Black people who do great work around violence every day. These people are phenomenal, but they need resources, and it's not even just resources for themselves, but they need resources to be able to help push money to the ground, right? Because we know that that's how you deal with violence in our community, is to push money to the ground. But I'm not mad at people who have said to me, when they analyze the 5.3 billion, that it is not specifically for Black folks, even though Black people are at the center of the conversation. They were in the Rose Garden. They were there when the president signed the executive order. There is a pathway to getting the resources. There's an understanding that urban violence must be addressed as one of the most important parts of the funding. There's 10 billion other dollars that's being opened up in other areas of the federal government that they are looking at different institutions and finding ways to direct resources and allow more access to our people, and particularly young people. So to me, those things are great. It's a step, of course, in the right direction. It's an important step. I get it. But I'm not mad at people who are unimpressed in this moment by that announcement, because they're saying, well, why, first of all, do we always have to have everything to be inclusive of us and everybody else, instead of it being just us, right? Just us, just things that is for Black people specifically. Why do we always have to have our resources split up with everybody else? You know, and every other community having access to it as well. So when people say that, I don't get mad at them and argue with them or go back and forth. I just say, hey, I understand how you feel. We must keep working. But I'm not mad at people who take that position. Now, in this situation, I've had people say to me, folks have been out here fighting. Turn right here, sir. Turn here. Thank you. That folks have been fighting for years. People have died. People have been fighting to get the observance of this day. Well, guess what? John Conyers fought all his life for a racial profiling bill. We got a holiday. John Lewis went to his grave trying to get voting rights straightened out in this country and to make sure that there was a strong voting rights bill. Guess what? He died. They gave us a holiday. Okay? You understand what I'm saying? We've been fighting all last summer. You talking about people who've died? Breonna Taylor died. And now we need to make sure that there is not that there are not no-knock warrants that can be used across the country, right? We need to make sure that we ban, that was the word I was looking for, no-knock warrants, right? She died. She gave her life. It might not have been as long as somebody who lived in all these other places that fought so long for this, but I could go through the spectrum of people who have died so that we can have, but for some reason, the only thing that was of immediate importance to these folks was to pass the holiday. And so my thing is, I'm not telling you that you shouldn't celebrate it, that you can't appreciate it. I'm not telling you that. I'm saying I personally am not impressed. One of my good mentors and friends, big sisters, Bishop Leah Daughtry said, it's nice. That's nice. But we're going to need some other things done. And the point that I feel in this moment is that until we get those things, people cannot police us and try to make us feel like we're wrong for saying that we're not impressed. We're not excited about this. It don't mean you can't be. It just means I'm not. I'm not excited about it because I understand what we're up against, that folks will give us a holiday and use that to say we've done something. We've done something. We gave them something. We all came together and acknowledged that, Juneteenth was an important day that talks about the liberation and freedom of Black people. How can you be free in a country where people are saying that they don't even want to teach folks? They want to take the racial theory education out of our school system, out of all of the places in society that teach people about what we've been through and what we need in order for us to receive equity, equality, and justice. That's what that's all about. They want to remove that. They want to wipe away the history and say that we no longer need a conversation about race and how it plays a role in the oppression of our people in our society. That's what they're saying. So at the same time, while they're celebrating our freedom, they are doing everything that they can to roll us back to the 60s. So you giving us something, giving us a nice day. And like I've been seeing people say, we're gonna have 40% off at the stores. We're going to have a nice day off. Those things are great. God bless you. Please take your day. Do your thing. Black people have joy. Do the whole thing. Ain't nobody taking that from you. But what I am saying, though, is that you going to have all of that. But if somebody shoots you down in the street, they probably will walk away without being held accountable. So for me, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. When you can't get an anti-lynching bill passed, but you can get a holiday, I can't for the life of me understand why anyone would be upset, or not so much upset, but be disturbed, if you will, by folks who are saying we ain't asked you for no holiday. Now, there's some people say, well, some of us did ask for a holiday. Absolutely. Some of us did. But again, I'm not mad at the police accountability movement, right? Or the education movement, when they see that the anti-violence movement was able to secure resources and they don't have resources in these other two areas. I'm not mad at them when they say, I didn't ask you about that. I asked you about what it is that I've been fighting for. Now, granted, we should not be take the posture that is of disrespect, a posture that is of us not understanding and even being chastising those people who did ask for there to be a holiday. We should not in any way take anything from those folks. We should not be disrespectful. We should not be engaging in arguments and chastising people. But the thing that I want to make sure that folks understand, and this is for a couple of people. I have a sister that I've been going back and forth talking to about this, and then there's some other folks that have been talking about it. The thing is, ain't nobody talking to you. We're not talking to you. Yes, we understand the significance. We are not stupid. We're grown people who are highly intelligent, who have been in these movements for a long time, and we understand exactly what's happening in this moment. We're not sitting here writing to, some of the elders and or youth and or whomever you may be who've worked to get this holiday passed. We're not writing to them saying, we don't care about your holiday. What you did don't mean anything. We're speaking to the federal government and telling them you could take your holidays and your symbolism and put that to the side, because I'm talking to you about this other thing that's going to keep us from getting killed. That's what I'm talking about. Ain't nobody talking to you. We ain't mad at you. We grown people. We are not talking to you at all. We understand your position. We respect you. Thank you for fighting for us to have acknowledgement of our pain and suffering and what we've been through, and keep going. Keep doing it. But when we say that we didn't ask you for a holiday, we asked you for something, we already know. As I was saying to one of my sisters last night, we already know very clearly that we means different things. We means different things to different people. Sometimes the we that we're talking about is the we that's over here, the we group that might feel like, we want to see X happen, and there may be a we over there that feels a different way. But nonetheless, what we are saying is we don't want to die. And if what people are telling me, and I'm willing to listen, because I like to learn, especially from people that's smarter than me. My sister Teslin is in the comments, and she's smarter than me, and I learn from her. It's a lot of y'all that's smarter than me. 2K, you smarter than me, and I like to learn, right? If what y'all are telling me is that a holiday has the potential to give us accountability when we are murdered, abused, oppressed, if what you're telling me is that the holiday has the ability to address those issues, then it's okay for me to be unimpressed. It's okay for me to be unimpressed. And then I can say I'm unimpressed, and yet I appreciate it for those who felt that this was an important step for them.
We have packages that will help you fully monetize your brand and events. Let's build you a channel that'll have you looking like a pro while streaming to Apple TV, Roku, Amazon, Fire TV, Samsung TV, and more. Visit us at www.netstarslive.online for more info. Netstars Live, making your streams come true.